What's up YouTube, Vampire here. This is going to be part 2 of the tutorial video. It is going to be the last part of the tutorial video, since in the first part we went ahead and went over, we went over the first 2 phases. There's only 4 total phases in the Kingdom Hearts TCG. The first 2 we went over were the draw phase and the action phase. I know there were a couple of things I accidentally left out of the action phase, of things that are you can kind of do and expect to see. I will do that in the next video that I'm going to upload. Probably Wednesday, on my next day off, I will probably do that. It is going to be the how-to of deck building and things you might want to look for when you're building a deck. If you solely want to base it on a specific world, like this one for Halloween Town, or if you'd want to build it on this one, which is Little Mermaid's world, different things like that are things I'll go over. Or if you just want to have a base Sora to build, Riku, or if you want to build Dark Heartless, things like that's what I'll go over on the Wednesday video. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the final 2 parts of the Kingdom Hearts trading card game. Or, sorry, phases of the Kingdom Hearts trading card game, which are the challenge and action phase, or the challenge and discard phase, sorry. The challenge phase literally works exactly like this. Both players have their standing player cards. Now, during either player's turn, after the action phase, once you've completed all that you want to do, you have what you have as a challenge phase. Both players can perform a challenge phase only once per turn, unless specified by a specific card. The only couple of cards that I know of right now, one of them off the top of my head is Xaldin. Xaldin can only perform a second challenge in 1 turn if he has 6 spears attached to him. So, this is how a challenge basically works. When you go into a challenge, both players move their player cards forward. The turn player moves his forward first, saying that he is going to initiate the challenge. The other player will move theirs forward. And then you will initiate the challenge by the turn player immediately either adding friends or attack cards from his hand, or saying pass, because he feels like he already has the 1-up. So let me use a different player card. I apologize. Let me give a better example of something like that with this Sora. So if I'm challenging this Sora, my attack value is already 7. This Sora, because promos are weird, they always put them up here really high. This Sora's attack value is only 5. So at this point, I feel like I don't have to add a friend or attack card from my hand. And then it'll go to my opponent, who either can say, I'll take the health damage, or can try to outdo me by adding attack cards and attack cards from their hand or friend cards from their friend area to help beat me on attack value. Friend cards during the challenge phase are not allowed to be played from the hand. The only things from the hand that you can play are attack cards and certain magic cards. There's only a couple of magic cards that are allowed to be played during the action phase, or during the challenge phase, and one of them off the top of my head is Stop. What this does is it immediately ends the challenge phase, and both players calculate from where they are. So that's the only magic card off the top of my head that you can use during challenge phase. If I can think of another one, I'll put it right over here in the little sidebar as a blip. So now we will go with a different player card to show what can happen if, say, my attack value is lower. Going into a challenge against the player card of Ansem, my attack value is obviously lower. So what I want to do is I can either add something to only give me a +2, such as Soul Eater. I can add a Soul Eater from my hand onto my Riku when I initiate the challenge. As being turn player, you're allowed to add an attack card or attack card from your hand, a friend card from your friend area, immediately to try to either equal out. What happens when you equal out with your opponent as the end result? Neither player loses health, and the challenge phase ends. So, and then all the cards are discarded that were used in the challenge phase unless otherwise specified. Or, if I really want to, I can add cards to beat. Ultimate Weapon gives me plus 13, so I would go up to a 20, meaning unless they wanted to just take the 1 health, they could add things from their friend area or attack cards from their hand. Let me grab this. Sorry. Oh, I moved the Oblivion. You can use things like Jack Skellington, that'll put him at 15. Put up Donald from the friend area, putting him up to 18. And then if you summon Bambi this turn, gives you a 20, that'll equal out. And then at that point, I mean, if you've got a Mickey in your friend area, that gives you a plus 3, so that gives you up to 23, meaning that I would have to beat adding another attack card from my hand, or adding a friend card from my friend area. Now, once one player decides that they're done with the challenge, either being the the turn player or the challenged player, once either one of them says that they have no more to add, both players calculate up how much is on either player's attack power. So here we have a 27, here we have a 23. So what that means is technically I win the challenge. All cards that were used in the challenge go to the discard pile, which is right over here next to the deck. Go to the discard pile, and then the losing player only loses 1 health unless specified by a specific card. If I had played Soul Eater to win the challenge, which Soul Eater can only be used by Riku, if Soul Eater is used during a challenge, a winning challenge, the opponent loses an additional health. Valor Form Sora also deals an additional health damage as well. Zaldin lets you challenge twice, but there's only a couple of certain cards in the entire Kingdom Hearts universe that let you deal an additional damage to your opponent. Otherwise, you're having to beat your opponent down by 1 health at a time. So that's literally basically the entire challenge phase. It comes down to just a bunch of mathematications. It's one of my favorite words. It comes down to a bunch of mathematications between the players of how much they want to add from their friend area or their attack cards from hand. One of the cards that will not be discarded after its use during the challenge phase is Sephiroth. When Sephiroth is used during a challenge phase, you do not have to discard this card after the challenge phase. He will just go right back into your friend area. Now, one of the things I also want to talk about the challenge phase is there are certain cards, and I'll show you one right now, like Zero, that say when this card is discarded from your friend area, you may choose a Jack Skellington card from your discard pile and put it into play with a blank text, so it gets no effect. It is also not considered a play, so if it has a come into play effect, it doesn't get it. But here's the thing I want everybody to know. When a card is discarded during the challenge phase by using a friend from the friend area, they are still considered part of your friend area. What that means is they're just moved up. They're not out of the friend area. They're just moved up from the friend area. They're still considered part of your friend area. They don't leave the friend area, which is always below your player card, to go into a challenge area, I guess you could call it. They're still part of your friend area. So that's one of the fun things you can do, is say you put up a Jack Skellington, you can put up a Zero with this. Now, since at the end of the challenge phase, both of these go to the discard pile at the exact same time, Zero's effect will kick in, and you can bring back the Jack Skellington that was used in the challenge phase. So it's great things that you can learn by reading the cards and knowing what goes on. And that's one of the things I'll go over in the how to build a deck, is certain things you want to look for is like cards that really mesh together well. Like, I mean, I know they're from the same movie and same world, but Zero very much meshes with Jack Skellington. I know that's probably the most obvious statement I'll make in the universe, but it's cards you'll look for when building a deck. So, when used in a challenge, friends from the friend area are still considered part of your friend area. They just move themselves up higher in the friend area. So, you don't move them to a challenge area or anything like that. They're just part of your friend area. That's all I really need to talk about for the challenge phase. Like I said, attack cards are the only things that can be played from your hand, other than stop, which is the only one magic that can be played from your hand. And then you can only play friend cards from your friend area to try to help you out. And then you just calculate it, all cards right after the discard phase. Once you've calculated who loses, every card, unless specified like Sephiroth, every card will go to the discard pile once used in a challenge. And then things, like I said, with 0, their effects will kick off. Now let's go ahead and go to the discard phase. Discard phase, there are only 2 things that normally need to happen during the discard phase. If a card specifically designates that it needs to be something needs to happen, let me pull out one of the cards that you could possibly see during discard phase. Sorry, I know I should have had this all set up already. One of the cards that you could possibly see need its effect to go off during the discard phase is Phantom. What Phantom says is during the turn player's turn discard phase, that player must discard a friend card from their friend area. So both players don't discard, it's only during each player's discard phase that they'll discard a friend card from their friend area. Now, I want to go over this. You cannot discard a magic friend through Phantom's ability, because friend cards during the discard phase automatically discard themselves at the beginning of the discard phase. So as soon as you go into you say you're going to discard phase, all friend cards that you have in your friend area get discarded. I mean, if you have 3 or 4 friend cards, like if you have Bambi, Tinkerbell, and Simba, at the beginning of the discard phase, all 3 of them get to go away. One of the other ones that has an effect during discard phase is Alice. Now, Alice is a little bit different from Phantom, where Alice says during during every discard phase, both players must discard a friend card from their friend area. Yet again, you can't discard a magic friend because magic friends go before any other effects trigger. So, Alice would be Alice if I have Alice in my friend area. When I go to my discard phase, my magic friends go away, then I have to discard a friend card from my friend area, as does my opponent. So, once all effects are applied, such as Alice's, Phantom's, and all magic friends are discarded from your friend area, you are allowed to discard as many cards from your hand as you want that you see fit that you do not need. Normal hand size, like I've told you, is 6. So, say I have a hand of 6 at the end of the phase, which really probably wouldn't happen. So let's just say I have 4, because these would be attack cards. Say next turn I really want to draw a couple of cards. I got 4 cards in my hand. Say there's a couple of cards I really don't think I'll need. Just discard a couple of cards. And then, like I said in the previous video, at the beginning of every one of your turns, you draw your entire hand back up to 6. So it just kind of depends on where the game state is of how many cards you might want to discard. Now, if you don't want to discard any cards from your hand, you don't have to discard any cards from your hand. Discard phase is just the name of it, of what goes on during the discard phase. Like I said with Magic Friends, as soon as you say you're on to discard phase, Magic Friends get discarded. And then all other effects that say used during discard phase get applied. Now, one of the things I want to go over is because Ansem can have dark friends in his friend area, say you have Phantom in your friend area with Ansem. Now with Ansem, this turn player goes to discard phase, Phantom must discard a friend card. You can't use friends, but I'll just use that as an example. You can discard your 0. The cool thing is if you just discarded a 0 from Phantom's effect, you can go get a Jack Skellington. So if Alice was in the friend card area of this right here, so right here, say that I have a Phantom. in this player's friend area, and that in Riku's friend area there's an Alice. What'll happen is it goes by turn player. So Phantom's effect would kick off first, having to discard a friend card. So Zero would kick off, and then you could get back Jack Skellington. Now, because Alice is during both players' discard phase, then Alice's effect would kick off. And then you'd have two friends to choose from that you could discard. So, those are things that can happen during discard phase. So, I really hope these tutorials were easy for you guys to understand. I tried to make it, honestly, as simple as I really could possibly make it. Sometimes that can't happen because, I'll be honest, this card game's, it's not complicated by any major means. It's just, it's a learn as you go kind of game where you learn as you go. I mean, again, obvious statements are made. So if you guys really did think this tutorial was helpful, please let me know. I really do enjoy doing these videos for you guys. If you guys want to see more, please let me know if you guys want to see battle videos or more deck profiles, or if you'd rather see battle videos, things like that, because I enjoy this game. If you guys started enjoying it because I started showing the different videos of what this game can do, let me know. I would love to do more videos for you guys for this card game. It's a really fun card game. I love this card game. I've been having some really good feedback from some of you guys because I started showing off this card game, of some of you wanting to learn how to play. So if you guys really want to learn how to play, please let me know. I just would love to show you guys more videos. This is honestly probably my favorite card game I've ever played. I understand that it's a dead card game, so even if you spent money into the game, you're not going to get a return rate off of any of it by any means whatsoever. It's just you're picking it up for personal use of you wanting to have some fun with a card game. So if you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Comment down below if you guys want to see battle videos. If there's any specific decks you guys can think of that I have told you that I don't have built, but you guys might want to see built, let me know what worlds you might want to see, and I can tell you if they were actually included in the card game or not. I will tell you right now, sadly, we never got the Lion King world from Kingdom Hearts 2, which makes me really sad because a Lion King Sora player card would have been adorable. Also Tarzan's world was not made. So just give you guys a heads up, Tarzan was not made. But other worlds were made, so if you guys want to see other worlds, I can try to put them together. Let me know what you guys think. Have a good one. Peace, guys.